Today we have our last lesson of Journey's Lesson 21. In this lesson, we got to learn about Frog and Toad and their garden, about insects and the types of insects that help gardens grow, and we even got to start our class plans. In today's lesson, I shared a short movie version of Frog and Toad's The Garden. Then we are also going to be rereading our story, Frog and Toad, The Garden. I want you to think about how is the movie version and our story version the same, but also what differences do they have? Think about when we read Jack and the Beanstalk. Our story was very different from our movie clip that we watched of Jack and the Beanstalk. So I want you to see what similarities and differences you can find when you reread The Garden. A little bit later in this video, I'll bring our plants over from the windowsill so we can take a peek at them. So let's go ahead and get started rereading our story and then getting into another activity. The Garden, from Frog and Toad Together, by Andrew Lobel. Frog was in his garden. Toad came walking by. "What a fine garden you have, Frog," he said. "Yes," said Frog, "it is very nice, but it was hard work." "I wish I had a garden," said Toad. "Here are some flower seeds. Plant them in the ground," said Frog, "and soon you will have a garden." "How soon?" asked Toad. "Quite soon," said Frog. Toad ran home. He planted the flower seeds. "Now seeds," said Toad, "start growing." Toad walked up and down a few times. The seeds did not start to grow. Toad put his head close to the ground and said loudly, "Now seeds, start growing." Toad looked at the ground again. The seeds did not grow. Toad put his head very close to the ground and shouted, "Now seeds, start growing." Frog came running up the path. "What is all this noise?" he asked. "My seeds will not grow," said Toad. "You are shouting too much," said Frog. "These poor seeds are afraid to grow." "My seeds are afraid to grow?" asked Toad. "Of course," said Frog. "Leave them alone for a few days. Let the sun shine on them. Let the rain fall on them. Soon your seeds will start to grow." That night, Toad looked out his window. "Drat!" said Toad. "My seeds have not started to grow. They must be afraid of the dark." Toad went out to his garden with some candles. "I will read the seeds a story," said Toad. "Then they will not be afraid." Toad read a long story to his seeds. All the next day, Toad sang songs to his seeds. And all the next day, Toad read poems to his seeds. And all the next day, Toad played music for his seeds. Toad looked at the ground. the seeds still did not start to grow. "What shall I do?" cried Toad. "These must be the most frightened seeds in the whole world." Then Toad felt very tired, and he fell asleep. "Toad! Toad! Wake up!" said Frog. "Look at your garden!" Toad looked at his garden. Little green plants were coming up out of the ground. "At last!" shouted Toad. "My seeds have stopped being afraid to grow." "And now you will have a nice garden too," said Frog. "Yes," said Toad, "but you were right, Frog. It was very hard work." What a wonderful story for us to get to read today about Frog and Toad and their adventure in the garden. We will be rereading this story this week, along with learning more about plants and gardening. Let's go to our next activity. Here are our plants from yesterday. Not much change yet, but they are tucked away safely. I just pulled them from the windowsill where they have been sunbathing. They've got plenty of water. They are very cold because they have cold water on them. Oh, I can't wait to see them grow. We'll have to wait a few weeks to see results, but we'll check on them throughout their journey. Now let's end our lesson by spelling some words with R in them. And when I say R, I am meaning words with A-R, like our pirate, R. We are going to write the correct word to complete each sentence. You'll see that we have 7 sentences, each that have a blank in them. We are going to look at the word that is located in the box next to our sentence and choose which word from the box would best help complete the sentence. This activity begins on page 90 in our reader's notebook. We will read the sentence, look at our 2 word choices, and then I want you to choose which word best completes the blank. Let's begin with number 1. Try to read the sentence with me at home. She lives blank away from me. Our 2 choices are fun and far. Which word best completes the sentence? She lives fun away from me. She lives far away from me. Write the word from the box that best completes the sentence for number 1. Number 2 says, he waves his blank in the air. Our word choices are ants, arm. He waves his ants in the air. He waves his arm in the air. Which word from the box best completes the sentence for number 2? Number 3 says, we play in the blank. Our word choices are yard, yarn. We play in the yard. We play in the yarn. Write the word from the box that best completes the sentence for number 3. Number 4 says, we paint in blank class. Our choices are art, part. Which word best completes the sentence for number 4? We paint in art class. We paint in part class. Write the word from the box that best completes the sentence for number 4. Number 5 says, she gave me a blank of jam. Our word choices are bar, jar. Which word best completes the sentence? She gave me a bar of jam. She gave me a jar of jam. Which word best completes the sentence for number 5? Number 6 says, hang your coats on the blank. Our word choices are card, bar. Hang your coats on the card. Hang your coats on the bar. Which word best completes the sentence for number 6? Number 7 says, the sheep are in the blank. Our word choices are barn. Our word choices are barn, big. Which word best completes the sentence for number 7? The sheep are in the barn. The sheep are in the big. Write the word that best completes the sentence for number 7. If you have all of your sentences filled in, now let's look at the choices. Are you ready? If you're still working and you need to pause, you can go ahead and pause now. But if you're ready to fill in our blanks, then let's get started. Number 1, she lives far away from me. So in the blank, we would write the word far. For number 2, he waves his arm in the air. Write the word arm in the blank for number 2. Number 3, we play in the yard. We will write the word yard for number 3. Number 4, we paint in art class. write the word art. Number 5, she gave me a jar of jam. Jar. Number 6, hang your coats on the bar. Write the word bar in the blank. And for number 7, the sheep are in the barn. Write the word barn for number 7. When we look back on all of the words that we use to help complete our sentences, did you notice something that they all have in common? Each of these words have an R-controlled vowel, AR, or R. Far, R. Arm, R. Yard, R. Art, R. Jar, R. Bar, R. Barn, R. We sound like a bunch of pirates in this class. Arr. That will end our reading lesson for today. Be sure to complete your math lesson for today and work on Imagine Learning and Imagine Math before we have our class party at the end of the day. I'm so excited. I will see you later.